How are you doing, man?
Um, just trying to get my game right. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Just trying to get as much practice in as possible with the disc that I have to work with, and just trying to win this tournament. Obviously,
Yeah, obviously, we discussed already. We kind of went through essentially what is out already for all the public. I'm sure you're probably not able to really expand on a lot of things, but I just kind of want to before Yuli, because I know Yuli has some questions for you. I just kind of want to know like what this has been because this is unlike I would say anything else in disc golf, especially since I've been in the sport of where there is so much like team support with the manufacturers, right? With this idea of like people are just like, I'm diehard Discraft, I'm diehard Innova. And now we're starting to also see with players as well, where it's like, I'm diehard Ricky, I'm diehard Paul. This is the first time we've really ever seen like where people are having to like almost pick sides, if you will. And it's obviously everyone's talking about it. And I'm sure your social media has been insane, and I just want to know like how you're handling that because I know if that was me, it would be a lot for me to deal with. And you haven't been in this game long. Like I'm an old fart. I've dealt with a lot of crap, and I know that this would be like crazy for me to go through. And it's like you kind of just almost had your coming out party last year, getting excited for this season, and then all of a sudden this happens, and now you've got the first event right happening this week. You got second last year in it. Like what is mentally how has it been? The stress, the pressure, all that stuff.
yeah, I've gotten a ton of support just from friends and family and random people like reaching out. So that's been nice just to know that people have my back no matter what happens with the situation. Um, for what I can say, I'll be throwing Prodigy for until further notice, basically. And yeah, like I said, I have probably 5 to 7 discs I'll be throwing this weekend. Um, like 2 or 3 drivers, a couple fairways, and mid and a putter. Basically, that's kind of
Okay.
what my bag's looking like.
Now, have you condensed it for a reason? Or is this less disc molds or discs than you normally would have?
Yeah, I do actually tend to carry less discs than most people. I'm more of like a 17 disc person,
Okay.
and I probably do only stick to like 8 main discs, and then the others are for specific shots, or there's like a little bit of wind that'll make me throw something out like more stable or something like that, or like a roller, which I'm not great at, but it's nice to have it if you need to throw it. So it all kind of happened because the timing of everything was kind of weird. So for the All-Star event, I was gonna go like open bag actually,
Okay.
and I actually went
Because we saw
yeah,
that your
yeah,
sponsor wasn't on the back. So
yeah,
that was kind of the
mhm,
giveaway of like this wasn't something
yeah,
because I'm assuming the Disc Golf Pro Tour had reached out to you to be like, who do you want on the back of your jersey
mm,
prior to the event?
yeah, and then yeah, I can't really say much about that. It was kind of all up in the air.
Yeah.
So end up going blank, just kind of in case, and I can do whatever happened at that point. Um, and then so when I did find out kind of all this happened, I didn't have really any Prodigy with me. I had a out so for like the mixed bag I was gonna play with, I did have like about half Prodigy, just because I still wanted to play good with the discs I knew.
Yeah.
So I had that, and that was probably like 7, 8 discs, and then um, yeah, kind of just went to that event, learned that when it happened, and then just played with those discs and played pretty solid. The game felt all right, and I feel like in a way, it's kind of fun because it limits like what shots you have to throw. It's like, yeah, you have to throw this disc, do whatever you want with it. However, the whole shapes, it's not really a lot of make the disc do the work. It's a lot of you doing the work, which can be fun sometimes. But yeah, that's the reason I don't really have many discs, because it all kind of was unexpected. Because yeah,
Do you think that is going to like limit your performance just a little bit? I know you said like obviously you had specialty discs for certain things. Do you think having those 8 discs or 8 molds or however you want to call it versus having a complete open bag where you could pick and choose, do you think you would be better off performance wise if you were able to pick and choose?
a little bit, probably like not anything major, maybe like 1 or 2 strokes around. Where
Okay.
where I'd feel, and I'd probably closer like 4 shots around where I'd prefer to throw something else, especially like, I have my really overstable driver for wind or just placement shot or flex shot where, maybe I need a little bit more distance, but I still need overstability. I don't really have that. All I have is super overstable and then a bomber driver.
Gotcha.
So my mom is coming into town. She just got in with my discs, my old bag basically tonight.
Okay.
So I probably after tomorrow's round, if I'm going to try to learn some stuff. But yeah, on the Jomas card tomorrow. So just going to stick to a couple molds. Yeah, feeling all right.
What kind of weather you got
to
try to figure out some discs? It's not the easiest weather for that either.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was going through my head. Like, I'm not going to get effective like field work or like learning my discs because it's going to be like 30-mile-per-hour winds pretty much all the day tomorrow for everyone, honestly.
Which might actually be good because
you
might just be like, this is the disc that's working.
Yeah, just going stable every shot.
You just ride it.
Typically stick to something like really overstable. And I'm already a flex player anyway, so I throw those overstable discs no matter what. So instead of throwing them flex, I'll probably be throwing them flat. Just placing them in the fairways. Putting is going to be just fine. I feel like putting's just going to depend on how I feel. It's not going to be because the discs or anything. It's just going to be how my putt feels at the time. And sometimes you have that 10-mile-per-hour headwind where you maybe change your angle, throw something more overstable, you throw it flat, to where now I kind of have to throw something that's a little flippier on hyzer because I don't have that slot. So, luckily Vegas is pretty wide open. There's not too much shot shaping. You can kind of just place the disc wherever you want, and however you want to get there is how you kind of get birdies out here. And obviously putting's huge with, it being pretty much wide open. That's what's going to separate people. I feel like that's why I did great here last year. I felt like I made every putt. And I'm looking forward to it actually. Just kind of see how I can push myself. And if I can, get up there for a chance to win after 3 rounds, that'd be amazing.
You do a little weight training this offseason?
Yeah, a little bit. Not body weight training.
Yeah. You look a little.
You're looking thick,
a little thicker. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
I put on 25 pounds after USDGC.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Me too. But not the same pounds, my guy.
Oh, crap. Yeah, I've definitely noticed a difference in my distance. I feel like I'd probably throw 50 feet further now. Mm-hmm. I can hit 600 flat ground with no wind, pretty comfortably, like pretty consistently, I'd say. Not too much more than that. I don't have like crazy, like world-class distance, but golf distance is
world-class distance, by the way.
600 is up.
So, well, I mean like David Wiggins or Albert Tom or Anthony Burrell. That's insane.
But those are like 3 of the best in the world.
Yeah.
And that's like a 360 out of control.
Yeah.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah, you got something.
I guess your guys' relationship was great. You had mentioned Will Shoestrake, your favorite player, favorite discs. Great relationship for a long time. Winning always takes care of a lot of things. Did you see it coming? And I can share, I guess, when I left Prodigy, I knew there was going to be a little bit of tension. I knew it was coming, but did you expect something like this, or did it kind of blindside you?
A little bit blindsided. I feel like that's some people with every company, like that's the company they work for, they love, and it can hurt if a player leaves that has been connected for a long time, and people are just going to react differently to different things, and that's kind of what happened. It's unpredictable with whoever the person is, and that's just how it is, I guess.
Yeah, and I was telling Brody, you can almost take it as a compliment of course they want to keep you. Which is a great compliment, being a top manufacturer, and that means that you're a top player, which is good. And what about like moving forward? Do you feel like there's an end in sight, or do you feel like this could last a while?
There's definitely an end in sight. Hopefully, I just want to get whatever happens, just get it resolved in the next couple weeks. That's my goal.
Couple weeks.
Couple weeks, and
that's good to hear.
Worst case could be a lot longer, but I think we're just trying to make this as clean as possible. No hard feelings for anybody. It's all just business, and that's just how it needs to be. Still gonna love everyone from every company, no matter what happens. So, yeah.
Was there ever? I don't know if regret's the right word, but was there ever a time where you're like, dang, the initial contract I signed maybe wasn't the best. Of like maybe we left out a few things that I wish we could have had in there. Was there any of that kind of thought, kind of?
I don't think so. Because I signed that contract. It was a 2-year deal. When I think I was 16, and it was after 2021. And
How old are you?
17. 17. My birthday's in May. So, yeah, I was actually pretty happy with it at the time because I won. I mean, I think I won Pro Tour top 5, maybe 3 top 10s in 2021, and then 2022, my worst finish was 25th place, and I had only 5 outside the top 10 finishes, and obviously the major win, and then the Silver Series of Masters Cup, which is still pretty big. That had a great field that tournament. So
hard course too.
Yeah, I think the contract was pretty fair actually. But just like anything, like you have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, I didn't expect to. My goal coming into 2022 was to get top 25. I'd be okay with like a 20th place. Now if I miss outside the top 10, I'm pretty frustrated. Some of my worst events, I'm like, I got 12th place and it felt terrible. Which, I don't want to sound like it's like, I don't know.
No, you're at the level now where you
That's
have
bad.
built your career, and where you're at is it's win or bust.
And I think it's just because the way I play too is like and how I've like formulated my game plans and how I play percentages and how I play the course is like, I don't have to play that great to my standards to finish good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because and just for some reason, I'm able to throw the shots that I see in front of me, and it seems fairly easy at the time. And I think you just got to have confidence in what you're looking forward to or like looking to do. So I think with the way I play, that's just, if I can throw it, if I throw out the same hyzer every time right there and never mess that hyzer up. I think I was top 5 lowest bogey rate, lowest OB rate. So I just don't drop many strokes. So
I think with you, like watching you play, it's simply if you're putting well that week, you have a chance to win.
Yeah.
And if you're not putting that well that week, you're probably gonna get top 15.
I think statistically, I was second best putter on tour.
Yeah.
Below Andrew Marweed by a decent ways. He's so good at putting. But I'll take second. That feels pretty good overall.
Do you have trouble? Because I would say with social media, this is a real issue with just society in general, of people constantly looking at others and saying like, why don't I have that? Or I can't believe that person has that and I don't. Did you feel any of that with some of these big contracts, the Ricky contract, Kona, Kristen, the Simon contract, all these contracts that have now kind of been public with numbers? Was there ever a time where you were like, well, what the heck? Why am I getting this? Like, I should be deserving that.
Maybe with a couple players, but not really. Just because I know like it takes time to build up. Yuli sells way. You do too. Obviously, like you guys sell way more discs than I do, and that's there'd be no reason why you guys wouldn't have a bigger contract than me, just because that's what companies are looking for. Is you're looking to sell discs, you're looking to get your name out there, promote the product, get it on all levels, and have the fans. And I just only being on tour for 2 years, it's hard to get the fans that quick. Where older people have had more time to get those fans, and obviously I've had my issues with being slow player. That kind of killed me for the first year and a half on tour,
which you've greatly increased, gotten way better.
Yeah, I think at the All-Star event, I know at least in the doubles match, there was every shot was 15 seconds. It felt
now you're
like
top 5 fastest players.
I'm gonna be the fast player. Yeah, fastest player on tour.
OB rate, I just go quick.
Yeah, and now playing slow is a weird transition because back then it was like when I was playing pretty.
Did you have a tough time just pulling the trigger? Was it a mental block? I've always wondered that.
Yeah,
was it just
I wasn't purposely taking long,
or was it you were just like I can't go right now because I'm not going to
So
throw.
if you took 45 seconds to putt, and I asked you after you putt, how long do you think you took? You just didn't. You would not have that concept of how much time.
I'd probably go 30 seconds. I'd probably say I took 30 seconds.
So you still.
I'm not completely
unaware of like, was it 12 seconds? Like, so you have an idea like, oh, this is taking a long time.
But there's times even now, you know, I think I'll have no issue with time this year at all, because like All-Star event was like, and there's still a lot of pressure at the All-Star event just because you want to win. I mean, and I know it doesn't mean much, but like I still wanted to just play like how I would in the tournament, and I was playing pretty fast. It felt like just because there's not, for some reason, I just don't feel as stressed as I used to be, and like especially on the putting green.
Well, that's interesting because we have a video of you taking 45 seconds. Can we pull that up?
Silas? No.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm completely.
I wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. But yeah. So yeah, a couple years ago, last year, beginning of last year, you know, I just putting. It was just like I was so scared to make a mistake. I was so scared to, you know, miss a 30-footer and be like, crap. Either I just took way too long and missed, or like, you know, what happens if I miss this putt? And it which is weird because my stats say otherwise, but there's just always like doubts in my mind on tee shots the same way, depending on the situation. Like it's just kind of everything.
I think everyone should be very scared, because when Gannon gets that confidence,
where you can go.
It's gonna be really, because like the way you're talking, because I remember you. I don't know if we were just talking off the course or something, but like you were telling me like, yeah, dude, I'm just so scared to putt. I'm like, you haven't missed a putt like inside 65 feet.
I mean,
like, how are you telling me you're scared? So like,
it's all in my follow through. I mean, you can see my follow
there.
through.
You can tell the difference between, and even when you did the putting challenge at the All-Star event, your follow through, there's certain.
I was so scared.
There's certain stabby ones, and I'm like,
I was shaking at that.
I'm like, when this dude is like confident of where he's just stepping up to a 70-footer, is like, I'm making this. We should all be terrified for our jobs.
The All-Star event putting challenge was not great. One, I was probably the most nervous I've ever been in a long time.
Isn't it crazy how team events can do that?
Well, it was the fact I went last too. I was like, I wanted to go second, and
he needed to make. I don't know if you saw it. He kind of butchered this one station,
it was so bad,
and had to make the final putt to win.
And then
whole thing.
And I took like 10
Did
seconds
you
on
make
that.
it?
Yeah.
I
Cashed it.
It was a 45-footer.
Yeah.
I had to make it or I lost.
Yeah.
So
I missed the first four.
Yeah.
Then cashed the last one to win.
And I probably beat everyone by like a minute on how fast I went. I mean, I was going.
Can we talk about the time thing real quick? I think the time thing's stupid. I think having a specific time limit for every shot is stupid.
I agree.
You should not be slow on the tee, right? When it's your turn to throw, you should not have to go through a 45-second throwing routine, okay? But if you throw a shot and you land in a spot that you've never been before, and you've got trees here and you've got OB here and
you're way off the fairway.
Take a minute and a half.
Yeah.
You're playing for $10,000. You're playing for you're playing for something. Like the time limit thing is stupid. If you have a 20-footer putt with nothing in the way, yes, you should not take more than 30 seconds.
It causes too much like war, I feel like.
But the idea of like, it's like, bro, I'm like, I got a thorn up my butt. Like, I'm going to need some time with this shot.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going to say on the time thing. I think certain shots that are basic and easy, yes, we should not be taking 30 seconds. But I'm also, I don't like the time thing of where it's like, that guy took a minute to throw that shot. It's like, well, yeah, it was a really weird shot, and he had to think through a whole lot of stuff. Like, I want to see that.
I mean, I don't even know if you guys have heard this or anyone watching, but like when I was at USDGC on my putt on 17, that 60-footer I had, probably about 15 seconds into my routine, some guy across the lake yelled 30 seconds at me, and you can see me look over.
Interesting.
And actually, so Silas Schultz, my friend, was standing right next to him when he said that. It was like this old guy, and he just screamed 30 seconds at like the biggest moment of my life. And then when I took it was 37 seconds on my second shot on 18 to win, every comment was just like, come on, dude, 30 seconds. He should have been stroked. He didn't actually win. He broke the rule. Like, in that kind of a moment, I feel like you should like.
I don't care. I don't care if you take two. I don't care if you are struggling to go putter, scuba, turbo, and you're like going, because in those certain moments, what needs to happen is like that builds drama. If you're going back to your bag because you're like indecisive on the shot because of the moment, that builds the drama.
Yeah.
If you're like sitting there and I'm watching Yuli's tee shot and I'm the next one up and I'm just watching it and it lands, I'm like, nice shot, man. And then now I have to walk to my bag to get my disc to then walk back to then throw my shot. Like that's stuff where it's like we can speed up the pace of play.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you rush a putt that will literally change the
course of my life.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. And again, right now we are dealing, we talked about this earlier, the money is in the sponsors.
Yeah.
That's not always going to be the case. Yep. You might have a putt that if you miss, you lose $150,000.
Good. Yeah.
Do we really want someone to be like 3, 2, 1? Like,
no, I agree, but it is a rule, and that is what we have to do.
It's a bad rule.
It's a bad rule, but it is a rule. Yeah. Now, I would love to have a minute. I think minute's a good amount of time to do all your shots, and then I think you should have a time extension. You should have a couple of those in your bag to where in the round you can be like, I'm going to use my extension here.
Yeah.
And then if you go over that, maybe there should be some like a TD or a what do you call them? Marshall come up and be like, hey, you need to speed it up. But I don't get this 30-second thing.
I think you can, but to me, it's like if I know I'm going to need a lot of time on a shot, I try to get to my shot quick.
Yeah.
Right. And I think there's ways around to like speed up play to where I think it needs to be more on a group basis of like, hey guys, there's a 2-hole gap between you and the group in front. You all need to figure out how to play, walk faster, take less time for like basic shots, like stop lollygagging. So I think it needs to be more like that of like, let's keep the pace of play going versus just like, hey man, you took a minute on that shot.
There's going to have to be some sort of rule. You can't just take 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I know like for me, like.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And like there's like, I feel like if you watch any live coverage or coverage of me, like I'm always ahead of the group walking. Like I know All-Stars, I was 150 feet ahead of anyone else. The gallery was still walking when I'm lining up my putt because I want to like I've always kind of been that way where like I've never been slow to get to my disc. Like I'm always anxious to throw again, not just throw, but like kind of just get the situation. I mean, we're pros, like we're trying to be as specific as we can possibly be. And if that means analyzing the shot a little bit longer, that's what it takes. But yeah, I remember just specifically at All-Stars, I wasn't playing great, but like I had like a 38 footer I needed to make for birdie, and I went up there, walked. I was 100 feet in front of the whole gallery, and I can see them out of the corner of my eye. They're still walking up behind me, but like I got to my lie. So if we take the time of how long it actually took the whole group to finish the hole, even if I took a minute and a half, I got there 30 seconds before the rest of the field even did.
Yeah.
So like
it did take a long time to get here today.
I'm sorry.
No,
we blame Owen for taking every wrong turn.
I told him 6. I was fine with them showing up at 6. I will have to say that I do give you a lot of credit because I think having that social pressure of people constantly on every video, this guy takes forever, discounting your achievements because your pace of play.
The second I take over 30 seconds, I get crap. But Macbeth, he can take as long as he no one's gonna say anything about him.
It is. I just want to. I'm not gonna say anything on that, but I'll give you credit on the fact of you saw that you were doing something that you probably should change, and instead of being that person being like, I'm just gonna do what I want and complain about it, you fixed the problem.
Yeah, because
that's a big.
My mom told me like every turn, like, hey, speed up, buddy. I don't want that to happen to you again.
Yeah,
like, I don't want it to happen to me either. I want to be a likable player, and like that, like if people don't really like slow players as much, just they're not as fun to watch. It's like for a
I think that's all production though. I don't want to.
Watching live,
a hot topic.
Yeah, watching live, it's not as bad. But like when on Disc Golf Network watching, like it's really bad. But when you're in person, I feel like it's not as bad.
We got you on Jonas. Did we speed that up?
Well, I'll say this. I'll give you a hot take. Like if someone. There are times where they'll have like a mic situation, and I think let's just throw the scenario. If you had a caddy and you were discussing about a shot coming up, that's fascinating to hear.
Yeah. Right.
That's very interesting. I want to hear that, even if it's 35 seconds. Now, if you're sitting at a putt for 30 seconds,
I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
That's on the production to be like, this guy's taking forever.
You're
Let's
going
cut.
back.
Let's cut away, and we don't. Not every shot in disc golf has to be live.
No, and you can
Literally show that shot
later.
5 seconds after it happened, and no one will know that it wasn't live.
Yeah, and it makes some players like look terrible, you know.
I agree. I think a lot of it has to go on the production of like they are going to stay, and you see this in other sports. They're like, oh, this guy's going to blow up. He just missed a putt. Let's stay on him. And then there's other players where they're doing the craziest stuff, but it's never captured on camera. And so
big part of it is they don't have two cameras. Second card, third, or first card, second.
they don't
card.
have anywhere to go.
Yeah, they don't have anywhere to go.
Because
so
the other
that's
cameras are just
They-
filming the
yeah,
ground,
they gotta show
walking to
something,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. And this is where I think they are doing this else. I think they did this at USCGC. They film like every shot at 17, right? Like that's how they got the paid shoe ace and all this. If they start doing more of that, of where it's like, hey, let's just get to the course. I know live doesn't start until 2:00. Let's get to the course at 8 and film every shot on this hole. Well, now you have all this backed up footage of where you could be like, okay, this person's like they don't know if this disc is inbounds or out of bounds. Instead of just sitting around watching them do nothing, let's show a shot earlier today and bounce back. They need to have more stuff or like packages. They need to have more stuff to where it's not always reliant on like lead card and what they're doing at the moment. That being said, though, like hole 17, 18, maybe even 16, depending on the course, you better not cut away. Like I need to I want that buildup of Gannon walking down the fairway of 18.
The guy yelling,
30 seconds.
Yeah.
Man, hurry up.
Like
Trash.
that. But I don't need to see Gannon walking down hole 6, round 1 tomorrow.
I know. I'm a fan of disc golf. Huge still. Like, I mean, I'm a bigger fan than I feel like most fans that watch us. So I go back and watch the live coverage after the tournament or the round's over. And I'll go back even like maybe I had a couple cool shots. I'm like, why didn't you show me? You know, you're showing people walking, like they show the lead card. Yeah, they're just walking down hole 4's fairway, the entire fairway until they get to their putt. When, you know, there is a camera on my card. Like, why am I not, even if I throw a terrible shot, give them something else than just walking down the fairway?
Yeah, there's a time and place for it. I think, again, like,
it'll get better.
We've seen
so bad. And
we've seen
a lot.
Yeah.
And I've always said this. If you could see what other sports and stuff have at their their production side of things, and then you look at what disc golf has,
disposal.
the fact that disc golf puts on the product that they currently do with what they have is incredible.
It's really good.
And they continue to move the bar up. All right, so I mean, you obviously are coming in to this tournament, finishing in that epic, tiebreaker last year with Drew. You've got good thoughts here. I mean, how are you feeling? Obviously, the weather, we haven't really discussed too much. We haven't gotten into that. But how are you feeling with the weather, the courses? Now there's only 2 courses instead of 3. Like, what are your thoughts going into the tournament as far as like performance goes?
Yeah, I think worse weather benefits me for sure. Like I said, low OB rate, low bogey rate. If I can let
stable,
and I already throw over stable, and I feel like I'm a pretty smart player, know when to go for stuff, know when not to. So as long as I can play somewhat good, let other people make the mistakes. Don't bogey, don't drop strokes, don't drop places, play safe, and let's just be intelligent, be intuitive on the shots you're making, the putts you're going for, how much you're going to run them, drives, playing to the tailwind side of the basket so it's an easier putt, all that type of stuff. I think that's going to benefit me. Obviously, it's fun to play in nice conditions because that way it makes it completely fair for everybody. But when it does get kind of swirly out, crazy windy out, I think it'll maybe as long as I can keep level-headed and don't blow up, which I never really do. I guess I might have a not great round, but I never blow up. Just keep playing solid. Just get a birdie here and there. I think with round 1 tomorrow, 6-7 down is going to feel amazing. Potentially even lead card with how windy it's looking. And Vegas added a lot of OB, made the courses a little bit tougher this year. So just play smart, play safe, throw over stable, land in the fairway, let other people make mistakes.
I have some other softball questions moving forward, but I have like one more like hard question. Do you have any other hard questions to give?
I got a closer question.
Okay, well, let me hit him with
You-
this.
you-
You hit him with the closer, and then Gannon, you can obviously you got stuff to do. So we'll let
One
you.
question though. And this
before
is-
your closer.
Yeah, that has
Oh,
nothing to
okay.
do with
Oh,
that
okay.
stuff,
All right.
but I just thought about it and it's so hilarious that I might get this answer. But when you said I want to throw it to the tailwind side, in my career, I've never thought, but maybe like a couple times, like I really got to get this to the tailwind side. I've never
You
been
don't think that?
I've never been that good. I don't think to where I'm like I'm getting this.
I'm not that good either, but I'm like I want to throw it there.
Yeah,
I
but
can't
but
do
how many
it, but I
times-
want to
yeah,
throw
but
it
how many
there
times do you actually do it? Because
all
like
the time.
I
Oh,
don't,
that I actually do it?
yeah, and
Oh,
like
I don't know.
like I'm
But
like
I'm still
thinking
trying
get it
to
as
do it.
close as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
But I'm not like
That's like you saying you played darts and you're like, I'm not trying to hit the bullseye. You're just like,
no. Because hear me out.
You're not trying to hit the
If you
ball,
get
you're
it
going
really
triple 20.
close,
that is true.
If you
That's
get
a good darts player. He actually knows.
Like tailwind might be farther past the basket.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to park the basket, right? And so I'm not trying to go way past the basket
No.
to make sure that I have a tailwind.
You're
putt.
So, I mean,
you're
like-
giving it that extra 4% to just get where you want to
but
go.
you want to be
we're
like
talking wind, like you.
But you wanna
can't
have
be
like-
that good.
But you want to have like an uphill putt versus a downhill putt, right? If it's a slanted green,
Yeah, I guess
like
I've
you
never
do
been
that,
that good.
or you not even do that. You're just
I
trying to throw it as
think
close
so.
as possible.
I think I just throw it as close as possible.
All right.
I'm curious. You guys actually think that way, and you're like, yeah, that's where I'm going. I have to be on that side of the basket.
Yes, I don't do
Yeah,
it. But
I think, like-
try.
I mean, I try. I guess I
Yeah.
try.
I almost
I'm
like
oh,
don't.
I would love to be
Yeah,
over there. I don't
yeah.
want a 30-foot headwind putt. You know, I'm trying to get as close as possible and miss on the right side of the basket. But I guess what I'm saying
I
is,
definitely throw shots where I'm like, if I throw a bad shot, it's gonna leave me in a good spot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely
Yes.
do that.
Like,
Yeah, I
I
do
guess
that
I
too.
never actually like intentionally like, yeah, you got to go right exactly there. It's
There
more-
it is. See, I just wanted to clear it up.
It's kind of though, a little bit in a way. Like if I have let's say I have a 380-foot forehand shot and I have a headwind, I'm like, crap. Okay, this extra headwind, I got to yam this forehand, so I'm definitely not short. So in a way, it is playing to that backside I'm looking to play for, or like right to left wind. I'm like, okay, hang it out way right.
Sure.
Let it like. So I'm not, I guess, intentionally saying, yeah, I'm gonna put it right on that exact tailwind spot. I kind of play to what the wind is on the tee to put it like, it's hard to explain. Like whatever the wind is, like if it's a right to left wind, I'm gonna play no matter what happens further right than I think I need to. That way, no matter what happens, I'm either parked or I'm tailwind.
Mm.
So it's kind of like I'm almost aiming for a little bit of a range,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
I
little
get that.
little sliver of
I
a.
bet you hate trees beside circle one, don't you? I bet you're one of those people.
No,
Because you're like, oh, I'm 20 feet away. I got a tree right in front of me. It's like, well, you
No.
knew the tree was
I
there.
hate them.
Aim away from the tree. So you have a wide.
He's like the aiming guy.
I hate them.
You're,
Just- I'm the worst straddle putter in the world, so that's probably why.
okay.
All right.
That's why I go to a knee.
We also need, before he leaves, we got to go pet peeves, and then you can go to the closer.
Okay.
Because that is like a thing.
We'll
Alden,
go,
you
I'll go close it, then we'll go pet peeves.
Alden, you also might have to come on and give a couple pet peeves because that's everyone's favorite thing on here is hearing pros pet peeve. Like,
Okay.
All right, hard hitting question. And it might not even be that hard hitting. In whichever direction moves forward, right? Because I guess there are scenarios on the table. There is that scenario where you are quote unquote handcuffed and you have to stay with Prodigy for the rest of the year. There is a scenario where you can go with someone else. Okay. So I'm going to go with the scenario that you can go with someone else. Are you, because you signed 2 years with Prodigy, that was your re-signing. Are you looking to do a long-term deal similar to a Simon, a Ricky, a Paul, where it's long-term? Or are you like, let's just do a 1-year deal and see where I'm at the end of the year?
I think 3 is a good number.
Okay.
It allows you and the company to work together to build. I guess to where I'm at right now, I'm probably gonna get one of those molds that I kind of get to help build myself or have some input to at least. So it gives the company time to help build that mold or work with me on it and give exactly what I want in the mold. That takes a little bit of longer process. It allows them to commit to you and you can commit to them. There's a lot of other things, apparel, like they want to be, the company wants to be sure that they can make this and not have to worry about, like it's only a 1-year deal. We don't have time to make this without, because maybe the company won't have enough money to offer you the next year. So
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 years is solid. 4 years is definitely a little bit long for where I'm at right now. Just because disc golf's moving so much, my game's changing so much. I'm getting older, hopefully getting more fans. So I think 3 years is good. Yeah, allows you and the company to work together to make a quality product and what you want to have happen.
Let's just make sure too in this next contract that we get like some sort of player option of where it's like, hey, if I win every major and I win worlds, this needs to happen. So just make sure we get a little bit, because like you're in that boat with your career of where, because this is what me and Yuli were talking about before you got here, is like I don't view you as someone that is just going to fall off the face of the mat. That has happened in other sports. We have seen it where some guy has an incredible season, and then all of a sudden it's like the guy signed. I mean, look at what happened to Russell Wilson, right? Signed a huge contract to leave the Seahawks, went to the Broncos, and like people are literally taking statistics on when is he going to have more touchdown passes than bathrooms in his house. Like that was a legitimate statistic throughout the season.
Ben Simmons is, he was on a heater there a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Now he's like averaging more fouls than he is field goals.
Cannot shoot a 10-foot wide open jump. So I don't see that happening to you. I see you on the other spectrum of where like you are still not even near your ceiling. And that's where it's just like when you sign these contracts, like you said, 3 years is a lot of time. 4 years, you feel like that's a little too much. That would be my only advice to you moving forward is like, let's just, make sure you got some stuff in there just so that way you're protected in case you start balling out of control. Because ultimately, too, at the end of the day, and I've said this, I felt like Prodigy should have. I feel like this is more on them because I'll say this. I think they should have gave you an offer to where you were just like, yeah, that's incredible. And I don't know, again, you don't have to talk about it, but I don't know how it worked out. But you're just in a world of where I only see up for you. And so if you continue to climb, like I just want to make sure you don't get in a situation where they're like, hey man, you signed a contract, we don't have to do anything.
Yeah. It's flexible. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Flexible. Because again, it should be a win-win for both.
Yeah.
As you grow, that should be good for them.
That's the best relationship you can have with the company is working together. You guys, if you're both happy, you both are gonna, I guess spend more money to make more money. Like that's kind of how I feel like that kind of works with contracts sometimes.
Can you turn that off, Brody?
Yeah,
it's on the wall.
Yeah, just making sure that everyone's happy. That way, you feel that incentive to work with the company on something that you can have the players' input, which is usually typically the best in terms of what the amateurs might like and how much the sales are going to be affected by that. So I think that's important for me as well, just to go to just within whatever company, just make sure you guys have a good bond.
All right, pet peeves. Let's get
Closer.
You want to go closer than pet peeves, or I thought you said you wanted closer after
No,
pet
I wanted
peeves.
pet peeves last so that we could lighten up the mood.
Oh, close it out.
Closing with this. So he was talking about other companies. Let's say that things happen. You have to stay with Prodigy. Are you at a spot right now where that's just fine with everything that's happened, or are you at a spot where you can mentally be like, you know what, it's good. I'll stay. I have my bag. There is comfort there. Is that something where you could see yourself being okay with?
Whatever works out in terms of the path of like least resistance. Just trying to make things as clean as possible. I'm not trying to push anything. I don't want to get any of this to go any deeper. So I'm just gonna go with what happens smoothly and logically, and just make sure nothing bad happens. I guess is what I'm
love that.
For.
Sick. All right. Any pet peeves that jump out?
I need Alden to help me out here because
Alden, you want? Yeah, come on in.
We're gonna build off each other.
Come on
Can
in.
I
Come
get
on.
room here?
Yeah, he can. Yeah, this big old chair.
Okay, you want?
So like these can be anything. These can be we've talked about when someone throws into you have a gap to hit and someone misses the gap and they turn around and they're like, gosh, this gap's impossible to hit as you're walking up to throw, and now you're thinking like, wait, is this gap impossible? Like that's one Another one that I've given is where obviously everyone knows UDisc live scoring is a thing. So it's like everyone should have an idea of what you shot if they actually want to follow you. So it's you're signing autographs and you had like one of the worst rounds of your life. And they're like, hey man, how'd it go out there? And you're like, yeah, I played terrible. And they go, you did way better than I could do. And you're like, well, yeah, that's why I'm signing your disc. I'm on this side of the fence. So there's all sorts of ways you can go about it. What jumps out at you guys?
I'll go. So fans, I always 100%. I've never turned down a signature. I always try to make the fan as happy as I possibly can. But whenever they say like kind of what you said, like, yeah, great shooting out there today after you had like a terrible round, like you had the worst round of your life. And they're like, yeah, good shooting out there today. Like, for a fact they didn't check scores. Or another thing is, kind of makes sense, but fans acting differently or being maybe overly excited or trying to be overly nice to you whenever you're like, I want you to just be you, don't
be normal.
Yeah, don't be, yeah. Or, just
anything with pros, anything that other pros have done that annoys you?
Yeah.
Anything Alden does?
Your face.
Mostly, I feel like we talk about it all the time. Like if there's the most obvious shot ever in front of you, and they take the complete wrong play, or shanks that just aren't even possible. Like that just makes me sick. Like you look at like I could probably throw a baseball 9,000 feet before that would happen. Like stuff that is impossible. And it happens.
See, that's where me and you are different because I'm like, when I see that stuff happen, I'm like, yes, excellent. Let me move up the leaderboard.
I love it. It's fun. That's our comedy for the weekend.
Yeah.
The amount of times, like you said, he's a fan of disc golf. He watches a lot of disc golf. The amount of times he just come up with his phone of the screen recording. He's just like, this is not possible.
There's no chance.
I almost feel like he does it more to me.
I do it a lot.
He like every morning I'll just wake up to a clip of someone shanking a shot, and he's like, can you explain how this is even possible?
It's me.
It's literally always Yuli just going straight grip lock.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Yeah.
Pet peeve with pros for me, I don't like when, I guess it really doesn't get me, but I'll ask you guys, is this a pet peeve for you guys if you're not watching scores and then somebody tells you what you're at?
Yes.
Like they're like, hey, you're in fifth.
Yeah. Like, hey, dude, you're doing really good right now.
My pet peeve is people getting offended by knowing what score they're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my pet peeve.
Oh, I thought you were saying like you don't like when people.
No, I was going to ask you if you guys like it because I was going to say I don't. If somebody tells,
it might be. I think it's a pet peeve for both.
Yeah, I'm not going to say which player it was, but like me and Kyle were talking. We were literally just talking like
so it's
here.
Kyle.
No, it's not. It's not.
Kyle. Is this at All Stars?
No. This was like a year and a half ago. It was a while back.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out what tournament you and Kyle are playing on the same card.
So we played on the same card, and I wasn't doing too hot. He was shredding, and we were kind of just talking like, yeah, man. Oh dang, Paul's 8 down through 9, and one of the players was like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it right now. Guys, I really don't appreciate that.
Brutal.
So that I don't know. I feel like no hate to that player because I like him, but
what about someone telling you good shot when it was not a good shot?
I hate that. That's the worst. Like good, even like if it's like or good run. That's the worst thing.
That's tough.
What about this one? This one is.
But I'm guilty. Really... I say to people though, I don't even know why. I hate like if I'm 100 feet away, and I miss 3 feet over the basket, good run. No, I missed.
Okay, what about this one? Because I have a saying for when people say this to me. It's one of my worst. Is when you throw a shot and you don't throw it good or what you were trying to do, and they say, "What was that?" And then I always say, "It was a bad shot." I don't even give them what disc it was, but they're asking me what disc I threw, and I'm like, "I threw a bad shot." And they're like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Yeah, don't like. Why are you asking me what I shaped?"
The asking what disc I think should be illegal. Yeah. I think that should be more legal than people taking more than 30 seconds.
Bradley won't tell you what disc he throws.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should be allowed to know what someone else threw.
Yeah,
like you're gaining an advantage.
Yeah,
you know
they shouldn't tell you.
But I also don't want you coming up to me and be like, "Dude, what was
It's a pet peeve, right?"
Yeah, I mean, that is a pet peeve of mine.
It's got the stamp right on it though most of the time.
Well, you better. There's no
Just
problem.
start
There's no problem with
switching
your
all of
head
them.
right next to my bag as I pull it out. You can do that.
Here's
Just
another-
don't. You should not be allowed to ask.
Another pet peeve I have is pros throwing the worst discs ever, like a flat top, like flippy driver. Like who,
I'm in on that. I'm like,
who
how are
throws-
you throwing that?
like you have like a
Wait,
like
you
a-
care what other people throw? Like
It just makes me mad. Like why are
if they
people-
do it good?
like
it
yeah,
makes
like
you
a
mad?
driver that you know like flippy meaning like hyzer and it flips out of the hand. Like if that's flat top, that's the worst disc I've ever seen.
I remember there's one time at World, it was like Brody, me, you, and Ezra in like a room, and you just start going through Ezra's bag.
Oh,
And
yeah.
you're like,
This
just
is
go one
garbage.
by one.
This
You're
is
like,
garbage.
garbage,
Yes.
garbage.
Money. This is the worst disc ever.
And there was like 2 in money.
I will say when you guys left because you guys tried to just put the disc back in his bag, he was
Because
because they were all just randomly thrown in
Yeah.
there. He was.
I feel like okay, another one carrying way too many discs. You should not be carrying more than 20 discs. I'm sorry.
I carry a lot of
Because that just shows you're just insecure about your game. You just aren't confident in yourself, and you just.
Are you guys pro or anti the good playing with you on the tee of Hoy team?
I think fist bumps are cool, but like I don't think you should say anything.
But what if you-
unless you all had a good time?
But what if I'm like locked in and you like you're trying to?
Oh, I don't care.
You have to say something. to me, right?
Nothing. I don't think you can say a single thing to me that's gonna like.
But would you care if I wasn't paying attention to your fist bump? You're trying to fist bump me because are you the fist bumper? Are you the one that's going to initiate the fist bumping on Hoy team?
I wouldn't. I'm not like going around like, hey, fist bump. But I'm kind of just like, I'm just like looking around and I'll move.
So if no one's doing it,
I'll move towards you maybe. I'll move towards. I'm not gonna hold my hand.
Because I'm just curious because there always is that one person that initiates.
Because sometimes I forget. So like I don't know. I'd say I probably initiated a good amount of time, but other time I just completely forget about it, and then like I'm like, oh yeah, cool.
Are you an initiator or not?
No, definitely not. I don't. It doesn't really affect me doing it before the tee, but I think I'd prefer to do it.
So if no one fist bumps, you're not sitting there being like, are we not going to fist bump? Okay, I like it. All right.
Yeah. If you miss it, it's all right.
Me and Alden are on the same page. Because I'm not gonna like refuse someone, but at the same time, I'm like,
Remember, we're gonna wink all the time.
I'm winking at you so much this year. It's
Hey,
gonna be an insane amount of winking. All right, anything else?
Well,
before
I
you
know
guys
I
go?
have so many good ones. I just can't think. If you
We're
could,
just
like,
gonna have to
jog-
have you back on the
jog-
show.
I
jog
think
my-
I have one.
Maybe in a few weeks once.
He has one.
If he has one,
go,
he might
go.
build up. I might go crazy here.
I don't know. It's just one of the things. You're just like, why do you do that? When someone like, one example would be someone putts in midair, they're like left, just immediately on their hand, they tell what they missed. They just feel the need to,
I mean, I'll say garbage. Like you're the worst.
but like they putt and then they feel the need to before it actually happens say how they missed it.
Is it just putting?
It could be
Low.
thrown.
So if I
think
throw
it's
it, I'm
putting.
like, that's in the water. You don't like that?
No,
That's different.
I think it's a little different.
Okay.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
It depends how obviously
And
bad it
it's-
was.
It's not a common one.
Do you like people that are rooting for it to do something? So if they putt and they go drop, drop, drop,
Drop.
yeah. Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So,
fine.
I think I like
Okay. All right. That's a good
I
one.
have so many that I want to say. I just can't remember.
We'll have you back on in a few weeks because apparently
Okay.
stuff might happen in a few weeks.
I always say if I miss right and it like changes out, I'll be like, catch that!
Oh,
I'll scream out,
Here-
catch that! Like, I'll
here's
get
one.
pissed
Here's
in
one of
the
my
basket,
biggest pet
catch that,
peeves.
even though it
like
definitely shouldn't.
like my friends making fun of me about complaining. So like I'll have like a putt that could have stuck, and then they're like,
catch that.
and they're like, oh, spit out, and then they're like, I hit one chain, and when it clearly like had a chance, and they're always just like, yeah, that hit one chain, like that was not a spit out, and they're not even joking, they're just being serious about it. Or like,
Those are good.
or like
Yeah.
a shot. I know.
They're keeping you in line.
Or I throw a shot and it like kick the tree by like 1 inch, and it would have been parked. And like, yeah, that was just a terrible shot. Gavin does that all the time. He's like, what does he say? Like, luck isn't a thing.
I mean, I will say that is a huge pet peeve when people are like, "Oh, if it didn't hit that tree, that was going in." Bro, it hit the tree.
What about when somebody goes, that was such a good shot?
But I'm saying like in the woods though. Like when this much is the difference.
I know what you're saying.
Between a double and a
And
birdie.
you're talking about like down. You're not talking about missing the first gap.
No,
you're talking about like way down,
350 feet down the fairway. It's like late flipping, and you hit something, and then you kick into nowhere.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. It's when someone like there's a gap in front of you, and you nick the gap, and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's your fault. That's your. You can. I feel like you can control the disc a good amount.
300 feet. The disc
you can have a gust of wind 300 feet down the fairway that you could have done the shot perfect, and then another pet peeve I have is like, let's say you're putting in wind from like 30 feet, and let's just say you have a tailwind putt. For most people, it drops. Like for me, it lifts because I putt nose down, so that it carries it. Let's just say for example, it drops most of the time. It's a clear tailwind. You putt it at like basket height. It's gonna obviously just drop in the ground, and it somehow just like lifts in the chains. And then everyone's like, "Yeah, man, nice putt. You literally missed it by a mile, and you got so lucky." I do. I mean, it happens to all of us. But you putt way too high, and you just slam right in the basket. You're like, "Wow, I definitely missed that putt."
I hate when people have the powder bag and they
that's my
check the wind.
Yeah.
It's just like on me now, and I'm like, dude,
50% of people here do that.
I hate when people try to lay up and it goes in.
Oh my! And then
I hate that.
And then the pro tour posts about it as a good shot, as a top
Or-
shot.
Does that happen?
Oh yeah.
a new big
I'm just gonna
pet
say Ella
peeve-
Hansen. She had like an 80-footer, and she said she was trying to lay it up, and it was just dead center. And that was a straight downhill. I'm like, that was the worst shot ever, but it went in. That's not a good shot.
I have a new pet peeve after this session is when you guys are playing and it's clearly a raging right to left wind and you guys make a headwind 30-footer. Knowing that you guys are trying to be 30 feet on the right side of the basket, I'm going to be pissed.
I'm
gonna
gonna
be watching you
I'm gonna
guys.
wink after this. That's how I do it too.
I'll be like,
I'm gonna wink at you.
You missed that by 30 feet.
Yeah, my favorite thing is like you throw like the worst shot ever, and then like playing with him too. Like we played a couple cards together. Like that was the worst shot ever, and like you just get so lucky. And then or like
That's how I felt when you guys were playing us in doubles. Not gonna lie.
on the
felt like you
wide
guys-
open course that you can't.
I
there's
felt
no
like you
luck
guys
at all.
got really lucky. You threw a lot of bad shots and got lucky. And that's why you
Rematch
beat us by 8
rematch
feet.
at Waco.
Yeah, why Waco?
That is a weird one.
Yeah,
It's
what?
the
This is the
closest
next
tournament
one.
now.
This is the next
Oh.
one. You want to be the first ones? You guys want to? If you guys want to do it, all right, we'll do it.
I mean,
Locked in.
Alden's
All
kind
right.
of saucy in Waco.
Locked in. See you in Waco.
Didn't
See in
you miss
Waco.
cash like every time in Waco? Yeah. So you guys have a chance.
Perfect. We love that. I think I've also missed. I think I've missed
I thought he
cash.
was being serious.
I think I've missed cash almost every time in Waco.
I missed cash at the first 7 events last year, so Waco
It's pretty
was
solid.
It is what
Was
it
it
is.
you and Ezra or you and him?
No, me and Ezra.
Yeah. I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
so it balanced it out. Ezra's great in the weights. Yeah. All right. Sweet.
He definitely doesn't shank everything.
All right. Well, mad props to you for coming on here and
Yeah.
talking about some of this stuff. I know that's probably not the easiest thing to do, but hopefully people see that support you for at least coming on, whichever side they're on, that you talked about it, because I know it's probably not the easiest thing going on. I think you're handling it pretty well. I don't know. You would probably be locked in a room somewhere hiding.
Yeah, no, I don't. I can't deal with that kind of stuff at all.
Yeah, I just
Just hiding.
So many people
I wouldn't be-
messaging
I
me.
wouldn't be playing.
I try
for
to
sure.
just try to look at it. I'm not gonna say I endorse it, but memes are always funny.
There you go.
They're always I don't I'm not gonna promote them obviously, but like if I see a meme like even though
Well, not on your
Yeah.
main page. Your burners. Yeah, you'll
Your
share.
burner.
You'll share them on your burner.
yeah, but
Yeah.
like and anything bad that happens, there's always a silver lining somehow, and
You take some. You take some
we
fun
can
out of it.
yeah, you gotta find a way to make it a good situation, even though it's not. So that's anything good can you can make anything good happen out of a bad situation if you put your mind to it. So
And I thought you answered the
Yeah.
questions great. You were awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back on at some point. Alden, you as well. Maybe not as a driver, but maybe as a guest. And we'll see what
I will let
happens.
it be known it was not me that was late.
All right.
Because that he wanted to.
I had to be Adam Hamilton putting.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did beat him. I beat him.
Hey, you made it here. The show is still happening. No worries at all. We appreciate you guys coming on.